I love 80 series Land Cruisers. I've had mine for over a decade, even though I put a 5.3 in it, and I buy several a year to dismantle for parts at Import-A-Part. Now, many of these wrecked Land Cruisers and LX 450s, when they come in, they have what most people would consider to be high miles. Over 250,000 miles seems to be the general consensus for tipping point for high versus average. But 80 series Land Cruisers are a little bit different. For one, they are approaching 30 years old. So at 30 years old, 250K is low. Most of these that come in have 300,000 miles or more. I've had several approaching 400,000 miles, and they run perfectly fine. They compression test good, they leak down test good, and I can have them running for 2 hours without overheating. I can sell those engines without any issues. But what happens when I get one of these things in that fails one of these tests? This is one of those engines. This is the 4.5 liter 1FZ-FE out of a very, very wrecked 1994 Toyota Land Cruiser. It has a mere 343,000 miles on it, and the reason that I'm going to tear this engine down today is that it failed a compression test. 4 of the 6 cylinders have perfect compression, 1 is about 15% low, and 1 of them is about 45% low. Cylinder 5 has 115 psi of cold compression. At that point, I knew I couldn't sell this engine to somebody, aside from the fact that the sum of the value of all of its parts, and you consider the damage to the left front corner, the effort it would take to fix that, this engine is better suited for parts. This is the damage that I'm referring to. See, the power steering pump took a direct hit. The alternator has been physically deleted. Distributor blasted. The power steering reservoir smashed into the intake. There's more damage. You can see the motor mounts ripped sideways. There's some damage to the upper oil pan. The oil level sensor is broken. This would have taken a bit of work to straighten out, but I'm not going to say it wouldn't be worth it because these engines are pretty pricey these days as they get harder to get. But even with all of this, if a compression tests bad, we're going to take it apart. For those that are wondering, this is the Land Cruiser that this particular engine came from. And the driver of this vehicle is perfectly fine. They crashed along a gravel road at a relatively high rate of speed, ran into some trees, and then walked home to get their dad to get the tractor to drag it back to their house, where they posted it online, and I went and picked it up with my truck and trailer. Now, let's see if this thing still turns over, since it's been out of the vehicle for the better part of a year in the back of my shop. Yeah, it turns fine. Keep in mind, it still has 4 cylinders with good compression. Everything feels pretty good. Go ahead and remove the plug wire covers so that we can get the plugs out. Here's the plugs from this. They all look okay. And the nice thing is they're all consistently the same. They have the same gap throughout. I don't see any buildup of anything. This one's a little broken, but that could have happened while we were doing a compression test. Who knows? Either way, no signs of issues here. The next thing I want to do is pull the intake. Now, by pulling the intake, I'm going to pull the rest of the engine harness, and it'll clean this up quite a bit. We're going to get some of this stuff disconnected here. The harness may or may not be in okay shape. I sell every single one that's in good shape, but they're not always in great shape. So we're just going to kind of get some stuff prepped before I start unbolting the intake. There are a bunch of 12mm bolts and nuts that hold this thing on. That do it? Let's see. Oh, it moved. Let's see if I missed anything, which is very possible. Got some vacuum lines. There's some coolant lines that run behind the distributor. Looks like I need to pull the distributor, what's left of it out. Will this come out easy? Look at that. Came right out. It's nice. A couple of bolts holding these lines in the front. Look at that. I'm going to be able to get this hose off. Huh. I don't remember working on this thing before. All right, let's see if we can pull this thing off Check some stuff here. The fuel filter comes with, engine harness comes with. Sure I don't have any more rubber hose. There's one that would have got me. I don't see anything else. Oh wait a second. There's a vacuum switch here. Got those disconnected. Move this out of the way just a little. It's already damaged. All right, what did I miss? Oh, I got a vacuum hose. Much better. Let's check out these intake ports. Man, look how clean these are. 340,000 miles. A little bit of debris in that one. A lot of this could have come from when I pulled the intake. This is a cylinder that's low. Had low compression. I don't see any reason why here. Looks great. Next, we're gonna clear off the exhaust side of the engine. We're gonna start with this heater hose pipe and hose. And the heat shields. Now something to note here is that since this is out of a 94, it's supposed to have secondary air injection, or maybe that's for oxygen sensors. I'm not sure if O2 sensors go here or if that's part of the secondary air, but clearly someone's been in here welding this up. This weld's not so great. Studs broke off. This was a fix. Let's go ahead and unbolt the exhaust manifolds. This one's rounded off real bad. Speaking of real bad, it's almost like I could have seen that one coming and I still did nothing about it. Got this coolant pipe. Let's go ahead and peel off the long valve cover. Let's see what's behind this thing. Oh, it's pretty loose. Wow. It's got a bit of varnish and part of a pine tree. It's fine. Yeah, she's a little sludgy. So overall, for 340,000 miles, it's not terrible. Now, I have seen high mile engines that look a lot better. Not going to say it's great, because it's certainly not great. These are a little dark, like they haven't been touching the buckets here. But for the most part, I don't see any forbidden glitter. There's not a ton of rust in here. There's really no rust in here. There's just part of a pine tree right there. It's fine. Who knows how that got there? Now there is a little bit more sludge up here where stuff doesn't circulate as well. And let's go take a look at those chain guides. Guides on these things can definitely fail. I've seen several times where the plastic from the guide will end up in the sump and block the pickup. But these appear, from what I can see from here, to be okay. The tensioner doesn't look hyper extended. Here's the tensioner, if you think a better shot. There you go, there's a tensioner there. I don't see any cause for concern yet. Let's turn this engine over and see how everything looks. Everything looks to be okay. Watching the chain guide. I think these engines have a service bolt, so we're gonna go ahead and put one in. That keeps this from rotating. Go ahead and knock this half-moon plug out. Well, I found a little more damage. From when the distributor was hit while it was running, it looks like it took a tooth or part of a tooth off of the distributor drive gear on the cam gear. Dang. And there's the damage to the distributor. The distributor does not turn over anymore. I don't know why. Next, we'll remove the timing chain tensioner. Looks like the water pipe's in the way. See if we can... Yeah. And then our tensioner comes out. There's our tensioner. So this is the part that you'd have to replace. We can probably just walk this off here. Nope, we need glue for that. Perfect. Now it is time to get this bracket out of the way so that I don't hit it while I'm taking the cams out. And now we can cram the cramps loose. No! I didn't get those out. I forgot. Take a look at these journals. They look pretty good. I hear a VQ trumpet outside. Yeah, no damage at all, like no major wear. It looks good. But if anywhere is going to show damage, it's going to be the caps. And there's very little damage. There's some wear, but it doesn't look like any debris has run through these. The cams, minor wear at the worst. Looks pretty good. Now on the intake cam, it's pretty interesting. There's this odd lobe here. Is this for balance? Wonder what that's about. I don't know everything about these engines. I mean, I pulled mine out and put a 5.3 in its place, so. But I don't see any issues here. Before we get to the head bolts, there are 2 bolts here at the front to hold it to the timing cover. Now it is time to crack the head bolts loose. Whoa there. You come back. Sludgeroni. Now this is a lot of head, so let's see if I can get this off pretty easily. That wasn't bad. Now, let's see, here's head gasket. It's very stuck. These engines love to blow head gaskets. You get them a little hot one time. That's all it takes. And there are a lot of small rubber hoses and coolant pipes and O-rings that can create a leak. And if you're not on top of it, or you have a failing fan clutch, there are a lot of ways these engines can overheat. But if they don't overheat, they generally don't have any issues. And I don't see any issues with this head gasket, which I can't tell you if this is original or not. A lot of these at 340K would have been replaced, but I don't see any signs of failure here. So we can see there's one of the teeth off of the distributor or the cam gear. A lot of carbon and stuff on the piston. Lots of debris. Cylinder 2 has a lot of oil in it. It's pretty common practice for my guys if they see a low number to put oil in a cylinder, but I don't think cylinder 2 was low per se. You see there's some glazing. Cylinder 3, there's a decent amount of wear, but you can still see a lot of the cross hatching. And look at that. Although cylinder 4 has a lot of vertical grooves and scratches, I try to wipe them away, and my gloves are not good enough to wipe the vertical scratches away in the bore. I don't see any damage to the piston. This is the cylinder that failed a compression test the most. Now, cylinder 4 was low, but not as low as cylinder 5. And of course, cylinder 6 at the top of the bore. Now, looking at the cylinder head, it looks fine until it doesn't. Look at cylinder 4. What has happened here? It ate some stuff. But what stuff? What went through this? Could have been part of a porcelain plug. Could have been another piece of debris. Something came apart in that cylinder, so there is some damage. I'm not going to say that the head is trashed because this could definitely be rectified, but it's going to take a little bit of work. And the rest of them look pretty consistent. Doesn't have any signs that it was chewing on coolant. That part of it looks good. Time for some science. A perfect score. For those of you that have watched this channel for a few years, you know that the last 1FZ-FE I tore down gave me just a wee bit of trouble getting the crank pulley bolt out. In fact, I had to use some special tools, which I don't have here at my house. So I'm going to hope that this doesn't give me that same kind of trouble. Go to your happy place. Oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, yes. Oh, look at the size of that unit. Easy peasy. Next, the water pump pulley. Now, the water pump. Look at that. Look how nice that looks. And this is a factory Toyota water pump. No signs that it's been leaking at the weep hole. This could be a 340,000 mile water pump. We need to protect this at all costs. Let's see if we can get this MicroGuard oil filter off. Yeah, He-Man didn't tighten this one. That's nice. Oh, not even a drip of oil came out of it. We'll get this cut open by the end of the video. This is what's left of the power steering pump. Let's go ahead and get some of this stuff out of the way. Tensioner still has part of the alternator on it. This seems to be not attached anymore. Yeah, that's not good. There's what's left of the power steering pump, and it's puking on my floor. I'm going to rotate this thing upside down so we can start pulling the oil pans, and I have no idea what kind of mess this is going to make. I'm hoping it doesn't, but I know better. Ah, that's great. I caught most of it. Next, we'll pull the lower oil pan, which has been punctured from the accident. That's probably from the front suspension or steering. There's a lot of schmoo on this thing. I know I'm going to get the question why I didn't clean this engine first. Well, it's a 343,000 mile engine. If I had it all clean and pretty, nobody would believe it, even if I had pictures of the odometer. So I leave it dirty. Oh no, I'm damaging the damaged pan. Oh no. So the lower pan, you can see there's a puncture hole right there. And there's some dirt and debris in here, but it's not, there's no chunks of metal, which is nice to see. Pickup screen has a few pieces of debris as well. No identifiable pieces. And then there's this sliver of metal, which I suspect came from the pan. What do you think? Is that part of the oil pan? I don't know. It could have come from something else. It's like peeled off. I just noticed this non-factory stack of washers. I'm not quite sure what this is for, but it looks like somebody's been here. Start unbolting stuff from the pan. I'm not sure what this fastener is. It is round. It looks like a Torx. Let's try it. Give ourselves the best chance we got here. Is it Allen? Does it need to come out? It looks like it needs to come out. Oh wait, it has 6 sides. It's a regular bolt. Torx on a Toyota. That's larger. That's a 14. Oh, it doesn't like that. Nope, let's get the air impact on that one. That one's a little too tight for that. So much junk. Got 2 14s at the back, and I think it's enough to get the upper pan off. There's some junk here. My floor is not going to recover very well. I don't think there's any more fasteners here. I could be wrong. All right, let's see what blue can do for you. I mean, me. Well, we're loose at the back. Loose at the back of the pan, I mean. We're off. See the wizard? There's our rotating assembly. All looks pretty good. I really don't see any issues jumping out at me. I didn't expect any. This thing looks excellent. You gotta love the architecture of Toyota engines from the 90s. It's all simple, it's overbuilt, it's robust. I think I'm the first one in this part of the engine. Let's go ahead and peel the lower timing cover off. That's not right. Is that it? Nope. That might be it. Let's get blue and find out. Oh, it's pretty loose. And we're coming off. There's the timing cover. It's got the oil pump built into it. Go ahead and take this over here. Here's our beautiful 340,000 mile timing chain. Oh, what a unit. Go ahead and remove rails. That was tight. Well, let's take a look at these rails. So this rail definitely has some wear. It's not terrible, but the other rail It's coming apart, guys. It's not broken all the way through, but eventually this would have broken off. It would have stayed running because these don't really jump time, and all of the stuff would have been floating around in the sump and would have eventually clogged the pickup tube. And some symptoms of that is the longer you drive it, the lower the oil pressure gets because the more of it clogs the sump. And then you shut it off, the suction no longer exists at the sump. This stuff floats away, and when you start it up again, you have oil pressure. So yeah, these are no good. Do not reuse these if you have one of these apart. Nice. Now let's take the oil pump and front timing cover apart. So this gear gets turned by the crankshaft. It turns the oil pump, which is right here, is what we're going to take apart. And then right here sits the power steering pump. There's no belt or anything to drive the pump. It's just this. Let's go ahead and slide this off of there. And we'll flip this around. And we'll go ahead and get this pump taken apart, if we can. I suppose we could. Oh, really? We got it. I think that's all of it. Or is there one right there? There's probably one right there. Yeah. So oil pump cover. Whoa! That was unexpected. Let's go ahead and get this stuff sprayed off so we can take a look and see what a 340,000 mile Land Cruiser oil pump looks like. This goes together kind of fun too. You can just kind of set this one in here, and you put this over here, and you just have this situation that you can play with. It's great for your desk. Oil pump rotors, I would say that's significant wear on the sides and on this part of it. But the part that controls, the part that creates the pressure, it looks pretty decent. That's pretty good wear here as well. The housing has some wear, some scratches. You can see there's more wear on the sides, like right there. At this point, I'm going to crack all of the rod cap bolts loose. I'm going to remove all the caps, and then I'm going to remove the crank before I push the rods and pistons out the top of their bores. Let's go ahead and zip the main caps loose. Now we have the rear main seal plate. All right, that should be able to come out with the crank. I have my doubts about being able to get this out because of how far this sticks to here, but we're gonna try. We should be fine. I'm gonna push these out of the way so that they don't make contact with the journal here and scratch the journal up. Perfect. Fish. See if we can't knock these out pretty easily. That's a thrust bearing. Let's start with the rod bearings. They have wear. Are you surprised? They look to be original. Cylinder 2, 3 is a little more wear. This is the one that had all the bore damage, and I think some of that debris ended up coming down because it looks significantly worse than the neighbor. This one's got a little more wear too. But overall, not bad for the miles. Main bearings, a little bit more damage here. Like some debris ran through this. That could be belt tension causing that too. But as you get towards the back, this one is pretty groovy. Definitely adjusted something. Still not tore up too bad. But there's a reason why that looks like that. I'll show you. Now we'll look at the rods and pistons. So all the rods look really nice. They're totally reusable. There's no issues there. But the pistons, there's some pretty good skirt wear right there. Look at those massive oil rings. Even since they're so big, these engines are still known to consume a lot of oil. Mine sure did. Mine burned about a quart of oil every 800 miles. And that could definitely lead to all that junk. That's probably what was happening. This thing probably burned a little bit of oil. Cylinder 2, much of the same, maybe a little more skirt wear. That doesn't look too terrible. That looks not so great. But let's get to the bad one. This is piston number 4, and look at the damage. That's pretty worn. And I think that this was the cylinder that was low on compression, and my guys just wrote the compression numbers down in the wrong order. I bet this was the low one, because if you add oil to a situation like this, the oil could fill those gaps, especially in the cylinder wall where there's a lot of damage. Cylinder 5, pretty good damage as well. It's not, again, not terrible for 340,000 miles. It's just not perfect. The rings are all free in the land of the rings. They all spin, they all look good. Not all clogged up like modern stuff. The crankshaft looks excellent. I think this thing could use a quick little polish. Even the journal that had the damaged main, which I believe was this one here. There's no major grooves or scratches. It looks nice. Looks like the bearing took the brunt of that. This is definitely a part that will get resold. These crankshafts do sell really well when they're good. Now, how can debris make it past an oil filter? Well, these, believe it or not, do not last forever. And as you can see, this one wasn't doing so hot. So I bet a lot of debris. This is probably a cheap filter. And I look for metal pieces, but it turns out the metal that I see is all the base of the filter. This is just in atrocious condition, way past its prime. I don't know that we've torn down an oil filter that looks quite like this. Now we'll do the bores. This is cylinder 1, cylinder 2. Most of this would clean right up. That's going to take some machine work. Maybe 10 over, maybe 20. They do make oversized pistons for these things, so I'm not going to call the block junk. It certainly isn't. Cylinder 5 and 6. Let's go to the other side. Cylinder 1, cylinder 2. This all looks pretty average, or even better than average, until you get to this one. Yikes. So I think this ate something. Something went through the intake, and when I got this thing, it had a homemade air intake of sorts. So there's definitely a possibility. Open element air filters on four-wheel drive vehicles that you go off-roading in is not a good idea. Sealed box is best.
1FZ-FEs are really good engines. They are just like most 90s Toyota engines. They were engineered to be simple, they're easy to repair, they're low power output, which means they're low stress, and ultimately that means that they last a really long time. I wish I could say that about modern Toyotas, or any brand for that matter, but that does not mean that the 1FZ is a bulletproof engine. In fact, I think it is one of the lesser reliable engines from the 90s that Toyota made, mainly because of the head gasket. It's a really long cylinder head, it's very narrow, it's a composite gasket, it's not an MLS gasket, and they just don't tolerate being overheated. If you overheat it just a little, that could be the catalyst to blowing a head gasket. It doesn't mean that it's a catastrophic failure every time. It's a relatively easy job. The parts aren't terribly expensive as long as you don't need to replace the cylinder head. But they do blow head gaskets kind of often, and a lot of times if they've been overheated severely, it'll collapse the rings and they'll start burning oil and have low compression problems. This thing, when I bought it, had already had a head gasket done 50,000 miles prior to my ownership, and it burned about a quart of oil every 600 miles. It's almost two-stroke level. It was mildly annoying. They also have the timing chain guide problem. They come apart, they clog the sump, but this one, 340,000 miles, and it was cracked, but it was still in one piece. So I don't really know how prevalent that failure is. They also have tons of oil leaks, and there's other issues that can develop with these engines, just like anything else that's 30 years old. But for the most part, if you keep them full of coolant, you watch your temperature gauge and keep them full of oil, they'll go forever. They'll run poorly longer than most modern engines will run at all, which is exactly why this has a 5.3 in it. When I did the 5.3 swap in this truck, I could not find a good mileage OBD2 1FZ for less than $3,500. And what's interesting now is that has been, at this point, 6 years or 7 years, and I am selling high mile, 250, 300,000 mile 1FZs for $2,500 to $3,000. They're still really expensive. 5.3s are still less than $1,000. So that's what it's got. So I really hope you enjoyed this teardown. If you'd like to buy any parts out of this engine, or if you need a 1FZ, I think I do have one or two in stock. If you need 80 series Land Cruiser parts, I have at least 4 of them on the lot that I am parting out. I'm gonna leave our email in the video description. You can also go to importapart.com and peruse our inventory. I have not been uploading our inventory for a while because I'm trying to build a new website. So anyway, that'll be released at some point, but we still will be updating our inventory shortly. I really hope you enjoyed this teardown as always. I love all the comments, all the feedback, and even the criticism. I love it all, and I'll catch you on the next one.